Good morning, everyone. Now I'm going to present to you the topic of Central Social Welfare Board. So now let's have a look on the introduction or the history of Central Social Welfare Board. Central Social Welfare Board was founded by Dr. Durgabai Deshmukh. It was established in the year 1953 by a resolution of Government of India to carry out welfare activities for promoting volunteerism, providing technical and financial assistance to the voluntary organization for the general welfare of the family, women and children. This was the first effort on the part of the Government of India to set up an organization which would work on the principle of volunteerism as a non-governmental organization. The Central Social Welfare Board obtained its legal status in 1969. It was registered under Section 25 of the Indian Companies Act in 1956. Now let's see the objective of Central Social Welfare Board. So the main objective for setting up Central Social Welfare Board was to work as a link between the government and the people. Here it means that the Central Social Welfare Board will collaborate with the government for those people who are left out or those individuals who have no one to support them. For example, like women who are in conflict or family issues or trauma that is caused due to natural or man-made disasters. The Central Social Welfare Board will help them to link with the government in order to get support and help. Then next is the vision of Central Social Welfare Board. The vision of Central Social Welfare Board: the board must act as a change maker with a humanitarian approach by reinforcing the spirit of volunteerism. Here it means like if the board wants to take creative action to solve any social problem, it have to follow a humanitarian approach, which means it should not have any impact on any side effect through the spirit of volunteerism. Then number second, create an enabling mechanism to facilitate networking of committed social workers for the empowerment of women and children. The next one is develop a cadre of sensitive professionals with a gender-centric vision committed to equity and justice and social change. Here it means that the board will develop a small group of professionals with a gender-centric vision for committed equity, justice, and social change. The next is recommend gender-specific policy initiative to meet the new challenges for women and children in emerging areas. The next, strengthen voluntary organization and expand coverage of endangered scheme in areas where they have not yet reached. Here it means that the board will strengthen voluntary organization in order to help those endangered scheme, like those scheme who haven't reached to any other community and who are nearly expired. Then the central board will help them through the voluntary organization to reach those scheme in those villages who haven't reached yet. Then the next one is initiate and strengthen its monitoring role to act as social audits and guide for voluntary sectors so as to assess government funds as a resources. Here it means that the the board will evaluate or monitor or report of voluntary organization, and then through it the board will guide or will advise the voluntary organization so as to assess government fund as a resources. Then the next one is to generate awareness about the challenges of society in transition, where negative use of technologies and practices are impacting on the well-being of women and children. Here it means that the boot will create awareness about the challenges of society through the negative use of technologies and malpractices in the society, which can impact or which have effect on the well-being of women and children. Next one is mission of Central Social Welfare Board. As a national organization, strive to be recognized as the most progressive entity for providing services of unequivocal excellence to women and children for their protection, capacity building, and total empowerment. Then second, to raise awareness about the legal and human rights of women, girls, child, and to run campaign against social evils affecting them. Next, let's see the general body of the association or the structure of the organization. The general body of the Central Welfare Board company shall consist of the following: all chairpersons of state, union, territories board, then 5 professional, 1 each from law, medicine, nutrition, social work, education, and social development, eminent persons with extensive experience in social work, 1 representative each of the Department of Women and Child Development, Rural Development, Health, Education, Welfare, Labor, Financial, and Planning Commission. Then the next 2 members to be nominated by the Lok Sabha and 1 by the Rajya Sabha. Then chairman of Central Welfare Board, executive director of Central Social Welfare Board. Then the next the scheme that are provided by the Central Social Welfare Board. Many projects and schemes have been implemented by the Central Social Welfare Board, like grants in aids. Grant in aid, this scheme is for the welfare of women laborers. It was administered through voluntary organization by giving grants in aid. The main purpose of this scheme is to organize working women and educating them about their rights and duties. It also deals with equal payment or equal remuneration for equal work in the area of wages. The scheme was introduced with the intention of helping women workers to become aware about their rights and opportunities that are available to them. Then the next one is welfare extension of project. In the year 1954, when the Central Social Welfare Board decided to launch the welfare extension project, during this time, 3-fold approach was adopted as the basic framework, and the activities include like balwadis, then maternity services and general medical aids, social education and craft training for women. Balwadis here means that those preschool runs for economically weaker section of the society, either by the government or NGOs. Then the next one is Mahila Mandals. Mahila Mandals is a scheme for helping rural women with problems of motherhood. These schemes also conduct programs that make education available to girls from economically disadvantaged or from weaker section of families. It provides vocational training like stitching clothes, then scholarship and other training programs. Then the next one is socio-economic program dairy scheme. Then the next condensed course of education program for adolescent girls and women. This scheme was initiated in 1958. The main purpose of this scheme is to cater the needs of adult girls, women who could not join the mainstream education system or those who were school dropout. The scheme aimed to provide education opportunities for those girls, women who are above the age of 15 years, along with additional inputs, skills, knowledge, vocational training. And this scheme mainly target for those primary schools, middle secondary schools, then and higher secondary school or matrix. Then the next one is vocational training programs. Then vocational training programs include like tailoring, computer course, handicraft extra. Then National Crèche Scheme. National Crèche Scheme is a centrally sponsored scheme, and it was implemented by the Ministry of Women and Child Development. In the earlier time, the scheme was named as Rajiv Gandhi National Crèche Scheme. And the main aim of this scheme is to provide daycare facilities to children of the age group of 6 months to 6 years of working mothers. For example, like supplement of nutrition, then providing growth and monitoring, health checkup, and immunization extra. Then the next one is short stay home programs. This scheme is for the girls and women to provide temporary shelters and rehabilitation for those women who have no one to support them, or due to family problem or mental strain, or due to any disaster or man-made disaster that happens. So this scheme mainly target for those people who are being forced into prostitution, then those people who left their home for due to family conflicts or family tension, then women who are sexually assaulted and facing problem, victims of mental maladjustment. Then the next one is Family Counseling Center Program. Family Counseling Center Programs. This scheme was introduced by the Central Social Welfare Board in 1983. The scheme provides counseling program as well as a referral to those children who are of atrocities or who were disabled. This also include like family adjustment, trauma counseling in case of natural or man-made disasters, and others issues like family conflicts. Then the next one is the role and function of Central Social Welfare Board. The first one is to survey the needs and requirement of Social Central Welfare Board, welfare organization. Here it means that the board will find out what are the requirements or what are the materials or needed resources of social welfare organization. For example, like infrastructure or technical or social infrastructure. Then the board, after finding out, will fulfill these needs to the social welfare organization. Then the next is to promote the setting up of social welfare institution in remote areas. Here it means that the Central Social Welfare Board also help in setting up of social welfare institution in rural areas where much development is required. Setting up of institution like rehabilitation centers, then cooperative societies for destitute widows, orphan, and deserted women and children. Then the next one is to promote program of training and organize pilot project in social work. It means that the Central Social Welfare Board helps to promote training programs like educating and training women to acquire vocational skills in order for them to become employable. It also organizes pilot project in social work, for example like organizing family welfare camp, to promote small family norm. Then the next one is to subsidize hostel for working women and the blind. Here the Central Social Welfare Board also provides like hostel to those people who are low income group and those people who are disabled or who are of atrocities. It is not only providing hostel, but it also ensure that security and adequate staying, whether it is in terms of food, shelter, and other basic needs, are also met. Then the next one, to give grants in aid to voluntary institutions and NGOs providing welfare services to vulnerable section of society. Then the next, to coordinate assistance extended to welfare agencies by union and state government. Here it means that the state government will provide information to the Central Social Welfare Board about the needs of the community or the needs of the state. And then the Central Social Welfare Board, through those information, will sanction grants or kind of funds in order to fulfill those needs that are required in the state or in the community. Then now come to the conclusion. The Central Social Welfare Board is an integral part today in meeting the needs of the people, especially for the weaker section of the society, like for women who are facing conflicts and other issues. It is an organization where it offers different schemes to develop certain areas where there is a requirement. Through Central Social Welfare Board, it has helped many of the privileged people, especially in women empowerment and other needs extra. Only this. Thank you.